feel free to jump in. Steven.
Hi.
Hey.
Is that a flattering angle?
It is. Most
Are
flattering.
you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
All of your angles are flattering.
You are too kind.
Will Alaric have any more luck in his love life on Legacies?
I sure hope so. I really hope so. I was just brainstorming some ideas with my girlfriend about what I would like to see happen with him. I would just like to see Alaric like go into town on an errand, at the hardware store, and like maybe run into a nice local woman, and just to strike up a bit of a chemistry with this person, and then watch them develop a relationship over the season, and then throw him up like a really massive curveball at the end, not about the person, but about maybe like what he'd encounter that jeopardizes this relationship. So I would like to definitely explore one way or the other, like a new relationship pattern for the character.
This kind of wrap up season, planning of Legacies, we have seen characters.
Yeah.
It really does. What is you can't get around doing while all of this is happening that will bring him back.
I don't know how to answer that question. I honestly, I didn't. The timeline of it all was unique, and sometimes it's hard to square. And so I had to accept that Mystic Falls is its own world. Like we live in its own sort of like domed, snow globe of Mystic Falls, where time is its own sort of interesting, mysterious dynamic. And so for me, I hadn't really followed much on the originals as we were focused on Vampire Diaries. And so you see him come in and make a deal with certain characters, and this deal ultimately sets up this school that we now find ourselves in. And then after Vampire Diaries ended, they were gifted house. And so that triangulation of events is I have to sort of experience organically, and then say, well, where we start now is in the future, and where we start now is Alaric has established the school for these kids who are afflicted or gifted, or however you want to look at it, with a supernatural identity. They're either a werewolf, a witch, a vampire, but wherever you come from, the school exists as a way of helping them understand themselves, helping them understand their power, the responsibility that comes with that power, and how to keep them educated about the world and yet train them to blend into the world. It's kind of like a preparatory school to get them to know how to blend into the world, control these impulses, control the murderous impulses that vampires have, that werewolves have, that witches have a tendency to really fuck shit up, and so you've got to see, and he has compassion for all these kids because he has his daughters. So, because he's bound to his daughters through this remarkable journey that they've gone through together, have emerged. They're like the flower that emerged out of this whole crazy story of Vampire Diaries, and the originals churning together and fighting and finding, and out of that has grown this blossom of the story. And so I think he has compassion for these children. He sees his children and all the other children. One of the most exciting things about the script is to see the personalities of his daughters emerging as teenagers. And so they're twins, and so they have that twin bond, but they're also blonde and brunette, and one has one sort of personality and the other has another. And Hope, who's now in our school, the three of them sort of vie for Alaric's attention. The twins are very jealous of Hope because Alaric has to spend he has to spend a different kind of time with Hope because she's incredibly unique and incredibly rare, and there's a responsibility to her that he has on a deep level, and so his relationship to Hope is very unique and is very demanding in ways that trigger the daughters. And so the daughters are always like, oh, well, there goes Dad spending more time with Hope. And so you got to see this, it sets up this sort of angsty relationship that Alaric has to manage as a father. So you'll find there's a scene where it's in the beginning, so I'm not giving anything away. They arrive at this school, and the girls start to get into a bickering match or whatever. And so it's that moment where you see like Alaric snap. He's like, he's just like, girls, please, behave yourselves. Like you see him like where that parent reaches that level, and you see those little tastes of the relationships, and then their new kid. I call them children. I turned 40 this year, so like everyone's a child to me now. And so I'm working with these kids who are 20, and oh, sorry, I went up on my thought. What was I saying? I shocked myself on my own. So they're kids. I forgot what I was saying. I was on to something good, and I forgot all about it. Yeah. Next question. It'll come back. It'll come back around. I just shocked myself. I'm like, fuck! I just turned 40. Ah, God, it's a crisis. It's a midlife crisis. It's good. Anyhow, so you'll see the school, and you'll see returning characters. You're going to see you'll see Matt Donovan. I can say that. So he's like, that's one of my favorite characters in the new show is Matt Donovan, actually, because he's still a sheriff, but having gone through what he's gone through, he's like the gnarled conspiracy theorist sheriff who's like always on edge, like always keep the town protected. He pours vervain into like the local gas station coffee, so like people passing through don't even know. So but to see the evolution of Matt Donovan is awesome. So I'm glad he's going to be in the show.
Are there any new parts that will be introduced in the mythology as part of the school and kind of introducing that aspect of the show? Yeah. I think you're going to see. Yeah, they're going to play with different relationships, different supernatural characteristics. The whole architecture of the show will revolve around, fighting the good and evil struggle, good fighting, and then you'll see that personified on attacks to the school by supernatural creatures. Mm-hmm. So I think you're going to have this element where the school is always defending against some supernatural creature that comes and threatens the town, threatens their own interests. Yeah. So you're going to see them engaged in a battle with a whole new spectrum of enemies that won't necessarily be rooted in a family lineage. So that you can really think outside the box and see a whole different sort of arsenal of bad guys coming to Mystic Falls. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be really cool. So.
Are there any more supernatural? Would have y'all not hit every single supernatural creature at this point?
Yeah.
You would think we have, but much to my glee and surprise, we haven't. It turns out there's a lot to explore, and what they're bringing on is it's cool. It's really cool. You're gonna see the characters in action. You're gonna see them like in the pursuit of stopping something, and so I think there's gonna be a breathability to the show that I think is gonna be nice. Where you're gonna see a sense of humor woven through all the scenes, a sense of irony, a sort of existential thing, and it will be set to this fighting off, the villains that are attacking the village, so to speak, and that will compel them into action. And so you'll have a philosophical angle, and you'll have an action angle, and you're going to see the school in the center of keeping everything balanced and keeping everything harmonious. And so there's always something that wants to have power and take that. So their struggle is to remain balanced. And Alaric has to remain in control because he's actually very vulnerable. He's the only human at a school that's trained that teaches like vampires and werewolves and witches, and so like that power is very real in their teenagers, and they can, you know, like all teenagers they're little bastards, you know. And so you gotta get, how do you teach a school full of magical bastards, you know, like, behave themselves without them like casting a spell on you and killing you right there. So Alaric has this unique vulnerability as the headmaster, but he has to rule with an iron fist. So, but I think you can just enter the show, not even knowing much about the Vampire Diaries or anything really much about the originals. I think you can step on board, watch it, you'll be captivated right away by the cast, by the writing. It's Julie at her finest, and it's really great to see all of her experience culminating, crystallizing with this idea that's been marinating inside of her for a long time. And so you're going to see again these fruits of experience coming through that are going to be really good. You can tell when people bullshit their enthusiasm. Like, oh yeah, no, we're really excited. This is really great, you know. And then, but you can really tell when people are genuinely excited. And there's a quiet excitement, you know, and I feel that in our rehearsals, like the kids have been stellar. Like this new young cast is so stellar, and they're just wide open, and they're available, and they're not cynical, and they're not full of their own bullshit yet, and it's nice because I think you're gonna have a whole fresh perspective with this cast, which in and of itself would be compelling to watch. So I'm excited because I also never felt like they captured Alaric. You know, his storyline kind of weave in and out, and it was labored at times. And so I think this is going to be really nice for me to see him come together in a much different place in life. You're going to see him in a way that's compelling again, where he has a sense of humor again. He's back up on his 2 feet. You know, he's running shit. He's getting shit done. I think it's going to be a new. I'm excited for exploring new angles to the character that you'll see in the show. Anyway, they're telling me I have to wrap it up.
Yeah,
Talking. Sorry, guys. Yeah, thank you, guys.